It's about 9 o'clock, so I believe we can start. I close the camera. Just a minute. There we go. I posted the text for this shiur both on the Facebook event page, but more importantly on my blog. It's the latest blog post, rygb@blogspot.com. You can get it there, and both pages for the shiur this event are there. And this, of course, is the 94th Yahrzeit of Rabbi Avrohom Kaplan. He was, of course, one of my great role models and heroes, and I think he should be everybody's role model and hero as well. We are going to go through two passages which are related about death, appropriately enough for the Yahrzeit. And the first one is on page Reish Nun Abikva Sayira, and that's the first page which should appear on the blog or on the Facebook event page. But in any event, this is about Tolstoy, and this was written in Chof Aleph Cheshvan, 1910. Tolstoy died in November of 1910, and this essay is written about Tolstoy's death and what it means and what it signifies. So, starting at the beginning, Shilshom Meis Tolstoy. Tolstoy died 3 days ago. So this is written November, I forget which day exactly Tolstoy died, but I just have it up on my screen. I'll tell you in a second. I did check, obviously. No, can't tell right now. So Tolstoy died in November, and Chof Aleph Cheshvan was 3 days later. So this is Cheshvan of the New Year. So it's Taf Reish Samech Aleph. Taf Reish Ein Aleph. Sorry. Okay. So Shilshom Meis Tolstoy. Tolstoy died 2 days ago. Ha'adam hazeh, this person, Shekol Yomav v'chatzi chayav acharon, the entire life, all of his days in his second half of his life, after he finished writing all of his great novels, he shifted gears and became much more spiritual. And the entire last half of his life, he passed over him with a fear of death, and he fled from its extraordinary riddle. This brought him to lofty thoughts on God and on man. This person, that preparation for death, changed him from what he was to what he became. Meis died. Now he already sees the truth which follows death. Now we can tell there was between good and bad. The truth and the falsehood, which were in his deeds and in his opinions, when he was in this world. And how distant is Torah Sayahadus, the Torah of Judaism, which governs with the lofty intellect upon the lower intellect. Torah's Tolstoy. It's much greater than Tolstoy's Torah. And Torah meaning his Weltanschauung, his perspective on the world. Lavdil, so obviously with great degrees of separation. But ad Tolstoy Moves, for Tolstoy, death was Hamoreh Hayachid, the only teacher. Shizva es Maslul Chayav, which put together, planned out the pathway of his life. Not that Tolstoy had known that he was certainly going to die. He would live a great life of merriness with security. It's like he lived in his frivolous youth. Before the days of his older age reminded him, as Yom HaMisa, of the day of death. saying, okay, the Torah, the Judaism is not like that. Hamoreh, Harishon, Hamamidas, Hayudi Adato, the first instructor, which instructs the Jew what he should be doing, how he should be thinking, and Machim Ba'atzmam, our life, is life itself. Life in all of its power and all of its strength. Hadam Shu normally, when a person is normal. Interestingly, when a person is in a normal state, Judaism does not require him to remind himself of the day of death. Also, forget about it. And to devote oneself to life, and the base medrash of life, to its give and take and all the issues which surround it. Only a person is already weakened, who lost his senses or his sensitivities, which call him to life. Only to him does Judaism suggest to turn to the day of death for assistance, in order to put him in a place where he can understand truth, to bring him back to normal. Where is this? A famous chazal. If this disgusting fiend, the Yetzer Hara, meets up with you, Omer Talmud, it's the Gemara says, Mashchel beis hamedrash. The first thing is bringing to the beis medrash. Hatidas beis hamedrash hevri. How do you know the Hebrew beis medrash, the Jewish beis medrash? Har isa p'miyamecha. Did you ever see in your life a desolate, distant, obscure corner, which has not been considered when the pathways of Avrohom, in other words, in the discussion or in the mindset of the Gemara, of the Talmud? Every Talmud encompasses everything, even the most remote, darkest corners. So that means that dark corner which you find yourself, bring it to the beis medrash. It's force feed it. The life, pour down its throat, life, from their original source. With a true understanding, based on the perspective of Torah, the Chachmei Yisrael, and the perspective of the Chachomim of Am Yisrael, the sages of Israel, Hashoklim Kol Tnu'ah, who weigh every movement. And a person in his life, and each moment is discussed, considered as if it's an entire world. There's a line in Rabbi Avrohom's poems where he says, just was looking for it tonight. See if I can find it quickly again. It's page 185, Kupei Hey. Baruch Hu Emunai Keladir Bakodesh. Bless those who are trustworthy. Those who are trustworthy. Bless the mighty God in holiness. B'Sinai v'Yavne Ophir, who appeared in Sinai and in Yavne. So Netzach Miskanes b'Chek Rega Cholef. The secret of eternity, he packs into the lap of a moment which passes, passing moments. L'zera makirav hodia, and he to the descendants of those who recognize him, he alerts. I don't know, it's a translation doesn't do the text justice, but again, listen to that. Baruch Hu emunai kel adir bakodesh, b'Sinai b'Yavne Ophir, so netzach miskanes b'chek rega cholef, l'zera makirav hodia. So in a moment, there's much in a moment. An entire Netzach, and included in one moment. So it's a very recurring theme, Rabbi Avrohom is writing. So here too, every moment in life is an olam oleh. Mashchelu beis hamedrash. So bring this this menuval to the beis hamedrash. Ten lo chayim, give him life. Osama chayim shenitnu lo kechelek eloka mimal. That life force which is given to him as that I have always difficulty with the translation of this line, but as a part of divinity from on high. And then he no longer will be a disgusting fiend. When the Torah's message for him on this part of life is explained to him or is recognized by him, that he is going to be purified and perfected. If a person is not normal, the base medrash doesn't work. He doesn't hear anymore. If he's mired with his head and most of his torso in smallness, and in lowness, the toveya, and he's drowning in mabul harefesh, in the flood of mud. Ozina said, "No, likro bepemole." Then he should try enunciating fully the words of Hashem to man, which are Yikra Kriya Shema, Shema, which actually is not words to Hashem, but the point is the same. Maybe he will be saved. But if he's not saved with that, his heart does not hear that which his mouth expresses. Siman muvhak, this is obvious sign. This person forgot his existence. He doesn't recognize his place. Va'az, rakaz, and then and only then, this is the morphium of Judaism. The Zosa Takbul is the last strategy. To remember the day of death. When it's impossible to open the closed door in the heart, only us then against our will, even though we don't want to do this. So we got to break open the door. When life cannot impact on a person, then we have to take the help of death. But this is not a natural help. The nature requires us to forget death, not to mention it. At the end of Shokal Chama, which is on the page 171 in the Sefer. So then the question is, to remember all and to forget everything and be joyous, or remember everything and cry? Well, here's one answer, which is lishkoach kol usmoach, but not smoach in the sense of making merry. Smoach in the sense of the recognition of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and his purpose for the world. But when the natural eye is blinded, the simin mikoma ein shel zchuchis, they put instead a glass eye. B'ain shel zchuchis zu, and with this glass eye, b'ashfoveres hamoves, in the telescope of death. It's a little bit of a mixed metaphor. He beat Tolstoy kol yamav. He made tshuva. The Tolstoy during the days of his tshuva. Look throughout his life, on life, through the telescope of death. He looked at life. That part of the metaphor is fascinating. How impoverished are the people who accept gratuities from their enemies. And similarly, how low is the life which must be supported by the table of death. Tolstoy all of Tolstoy's life, Hatovim Tukim Tukanim, when they were good and correct. Loy Elamein Gisisas Neshama, they're only like the last gasp of life, and a long gasp. From Mistaheres Mishkim Miskadeshes, which is purifying and sanctifying itself from its repugnance, Lifnei Mosa. Zoe Torah Hamavis, that is the Torah of death. Ad Itanu Torah Chaim, we have the Torah of life. And even when Tolstoy was speaking about the happiness of human beings, and the pleasure in this happiness, even in an area in a topic which was most happy and most clear, it was clear that the shadow of death was following. The riddle of death and destruction. The riddle of the hidden forces in the world. They brought him to the decision, or the conclusion, that there's something above that which is revealed. That there's some sort of purpose for existence. And the sense or sensitivity which is closest to that goal, hu hatov, is good. In other words, that which is highest in this world in terms of its relationship to that which is beyond the world is goodness. That's why he chose goodness. We have to be drawing inference here carefully. But he chose good. He didn't recognize what was good. He never reached the perspective of Judaism, which teaches that goodness is the purpose of creation. Ilu shalu oscho, were they to ask him, Hayomer, he would say, Ki es tachlis habriya, in any of there, he would say the purpose of creation, I have no idea. Tolstoy would say only one thing I know. Ki hatov, that goodness, matim, correlates with the hidden purpose, hahi, which that hidden purpose, and bad is antithetical to it. So therefore, bakru b'tov. I know what the purpose is, but good seems to be as close to the purpose as possible. Like any other person who had no purpose in life, Tolstoy also was afraid of death. When life is empty of a goal, of a purpose, as our mothers told me, then death is a terrible abyss. Even if you figure that goodness is the way to go, it's kind of like Pascal's wager. Be good, because good must be close to what is divine and what is beyond. But that's not Judaism. Judaism says be good, because the purpose of everything is being good. Judaism knows the purpose of life. Therefore, toys with death. It sees in death the transfer from this life to another life. More appropriate, more precisely. From the first half of life to the last half of life. There is no real death. Mihem Amesim, who are those who are dead, the Shoim B'chayim. We're showing even their life are called dead because the purpose is non-existent. The purpose is non-existent. Life is non-existent, or more correctly, existence is not. Their existence is not justified. I was thinking we saw some Kriim Chaim, but tzaddikim, even when they're dead, they're called alive because it's just one continuity. And more beautiful is 1 hour of the first half of life in Yafehu Bemes, which is indeed beautiful. From all the life of the second half of life, Death is not the Rebbe of a healthy Jew. Like it was Tolstoy's Rebbe. The opposite is true. Death is the student, which has to learn from life. You live life, and after you're dead, you learn from the life that you led. The fascinating perspective. It's not like we normally think about with the Bali Musar. It's a different perspective. Right? From Bali Musa, we understand that the famous story of Rabbi Salanter met the Alter from Navarre before it was the Alter Navarre on the train, and the Alter from Navarre was complaining because Horowitz, well, how terrible life is. How can you live? And Shaul said, how do you die? And this caused a tremendous shock in the Alter, and it became the Alter from Navarre. So obviously, the way we normally understand that classic story is that death is an impetus for life. It's not what Rabbi Avrohom is saying. Rabbi Avrohom is saying is life is its own impetus. Death follows life, lived appropriately, and builds on that life. It's a different, subtle difference, but it's an interesting difference. The more chachma your life is, the more chachma you amass and live in this world, King Yushar Talmid, more happy the Talmud death will be. Tolstoy the Torah, so Tolstoy and his perspective, Klipas Hashum, are like the peel, garlic peel. Yadus Nishmas Holam. Judaism is the neshama of the world. Now, this is one half, so to speak, and another half is the next part, which is on page 164 of the of Bikwas Yira, and was written later. It's written in Tarat, tells 1919, I guess. I want to point out parenthetically that at that point, my grandfather, Zatzal, was 16 years old, and probably was in Tells, and it probably was around the time that he had Hashpah on my grandfather and my great aunts. Okay, but this is the second half of a letter. First letter is about his Perush on Shas, which he was contemplating. And then he says, the more a person is uplifted from superficial and material perspectives, concepts, it has to become clarified by him. The recognition, there's no death in this world. There is no eternal negation. One switches worlds. When we cling to and think too much about the body of the dead, we can come to forsake that cognition. And he was greater than all other human beings. There's no necessity to know his kever, no necessity to focus on his kever. Moshe Rabbeinu, Shalom Kosuv, by Moshe Rabbeinu, it says, Lo yada ish so. No man knew his burial place. Excuse me a second here. I want to make sure that somebody's not texting me that this whole shiur is not going through. But that's not the case. Sometimes I get things like that. No, not this time. Okay. So by Moshe Rabbeinu, we don't know his kvura. He ain't no kvura, because Moshe Rabbeinu so ain't no kvura. His burial place is immaterial. So if we were to know his the place is kvura, this would impart a notion of death to Moshe Rabbeinu. Now, this is very, very much in the Eliyahu, because this week is the Yahrzeit of Rishon Bar Yochai, where there's a focus on the kever of Rishon Bar Yochai, and we know that this is not the normative perspective of the classic misnagdic approach. And B, it is Parshas Emor, and Emor has to do with the Kohanim being forbidden to be metame, to go to Levias, as the Ishbitzer says in his very, very interesting mashal. It's a mashal to a cook who the king had a chef. The king is told not to go to any Levias because it's going to make him upset, and he won't be able to cook as well, to make us plan as to create dishes as joyously. So too, the focus on death is something which a Kohen has to avoid in order to always be in a state of simcha, in order that in the Beis HaMikdash he should serve the dishes, the korbanos, with the utmost elevation. Um, the greater person is Eno Zakuk. He doesn't need. Begam Mafsilon also causes a loss to him. We see one is that he has tangible material memorials. Ma'asav Chayav Aleh, the most the deeds and his life on this earth, Ba'payim Ha'ashir Ba'tahar, with his toil, which was rich and pure. Haim Hanachasim Nitzchim, they are the eternal property of the man and that which he imparts to the world. Because in truth, when we analyze this carefully in our minds, it's absolutely false. To think of a person who was great and a genius, Lamei said he's dead. It's possible when we think about the Rambam Rashi, that we're going to think that these two people died, that they're buried in a kever, that they're not in the compass of our world. With such a thought accompanying us, we thought about the two of them. Never. It's like the famous story about Rabbi Ber. When he sits down to say a shiur, first comes the Rambam into the room, and then first Abai, and then Rava, and then the Rambam, and everybody's in the room together, and that's how he imagined with his father this morning, and he imagined how he learned, and how it made him from old and young again. These people are not dead. They are with us. We live with Abai and Rava. It's a famous story, not famous, but there's Reb Chaim Shmulevitz once said that all of us know what svara is Reb Chaim Dik and what svara is Reb Shimon Dik. But who among us knows what svara is Rabbi Shmuel Dik and what svara is Rabbi Akiva Dik? Now, without getting into the issue itself, but we can sense Reb Chaim, Reb Shimon, this is his thing. This is the way he would think. This is how he would think. They're alive with us. They accompany us wherever we go. This is because the truest concept, which we can discern in a person's life relative to his fellow, is that which his friend influences, and that which you receive from him, the radiance of his life, the illumination of his wisdom, the grace of his way of life, Noam midabro, the pleasantness of his speech, kesem tunasab, the magic of his movements, v'yofi ma'asav, and the beauty of his deeds. It's a beautiful line. Let me repeat that, just in Hebrew. Zor Chachmaso, Chen Alichosov, Noam Midbaro, Kesem Tnuosov, Yofi Masav. B'kitzur, in short, Osama Khalifin Shoskulosa Adam, those interactions of human qualities, Hamafasim Lohem Nasibli Bos Chaverov, which paved for them a pathway in the hearts of his friends. Zen Nikrosha Adamu Chai B'kirbenu. That's called that that person is alive in our hearts. And that's the case. There's no expiration to that life as long as somebody is alive in our hearts. To that extent to which a person is left as a blessing, his qualities, possession, and that which he gave eternal existence in the students, in his words, and his svarim, and to those who are close to his way of life or way of thought. That way he's truly alive still. This is a beautiful piece for Yahrzeit. And we have to focus our intent. To preserve that life force, that should continue to exist And not to stand by a coffin in which there's a dead body. As if we want to make sure that it shouldn't be lost and forgotten. To stand by a commemoration, a memorial, to focus on the death. It's weak and empty. It's not going to bring back that which is precious and beloved to us from the abyss of forgetfulness. It's going to bring us down to it. Let us preserve the eternal life. Levi wasn't allowed to carry the Aron of Yaakov Avinu. Because the Kohanim, is the sense, were eventually going to carry the Aron HaKodesh. He who carries the eternal life. He carries the life of the Aron of the Torah of life, which a person preserves and sustains it. So therefore, not like Tolstoy, doesn't need and shouldn't carry death if he can survive and thrive on life. Dvarim boim beholchim, things come and go. No ladim nishkachim, they're born and forgotten. The pasim nishmatim are seized and released. Vadam omeid ba'emtza, and a person stands in the middle. Bisasher yadam l'sha'ah, he's enriched by them for the moment. Kshem boim alav, when they come to him. Kshulam medosam, when he learns them. Bodota fuswem, when he's still grabbing onto them. But all of a sudden, he becomes bereft of these riches, which go away from him and leave him. They're going to be forgotten by him. They're going to drop out of his hand. What's a person do to make sure that things don't pass away from him? What should he do to his truths? That they should not be forgotten by him before he grasps upon them. Well, what should you do to those opinions, that knowledge that you already grabbed on? That they won't go depart one by one. On the chait in which we sinned before you without das, by leaving our das behind. The mimer ends here. Perhaps because it wasn't finished, but because everybody has to finish for themselves. What we should do in order to grab on to truth. On a personal note, for us tonight, this is how we grab on to the truth and the ideas and the life force of Rabbi Avrohom Eliyahu, who's alive within us, inspires us, and we should be zeicha to continue to go by his light and by his inspiration and by his elevation and by his making us more lofty. Amen.